As you age, the lazier you are at these seven things, the happier you are. Advice from old people. Aging is not about doing more. It's about doing less of what drains your energy and more of what fills your soul with peace. Society often tells us to stay busy, keep achieving, and never slow down. But what if the secret to happiness in old age is not in striving, but in letting go? As you get older, you start to realize that some things are simply not worth your time, effort, or stress anymore. The happiest seniors are those who learn to be lazy at the right things, the things that steal their joy, weigh them down, and add unnecessary burdens. Here are seven things you should become lazier about, not because you don't care, but because your peace, happiness, and well-being matter more than anything. 1. Stop worrying about what others think of you. For much of our lives, we are conditioned to seek approval. From childhood to adulthood, we learn to measure our worth by how others see us. We dress a certain way, speak carefully, and hesitate before making decisions, all because of an invisible pressure. What will they think? But as the years pass, something remarkable happens. We realize that the opinions of others hold far less power than we once believed. We see that no matter what we do, some people will misunderstand us, some will judge us, and some will never be satisfied. And here's the most liberating truth of all: it does not matter. There is a quiet freedom in knowing that you no longer have to prove anything to anyone. You have spent decades learning, growing, and becoming the person you are today. You have survived heartbreaks, overcome challenges, and built a life filled with experiences. Why should the fleeting opinions of others dictate how you feel about yourself? People's judgments are often reflections of their own insecurities, not a measure of your worth. The moment you stop seeking validation, you gain something far greater: inner peace. You stop second guessing yourself, stop changing to fit expectations, and stop carrying the exhausting weight of trying to be acceptable in the eyes of others. Instead, you start living for yourself. You wear what makes you feel good. You speak your mind without fear. You embrace your quirks, your wisdom, and your history. You realize that the only opinion that truly matters is your own. And with that realization comes a deep, unshakable sense of freedom. The years ahead are precious. They are not meant to be spent in hesitation, worrying about how others perceive you. They are meant to be lived fully, with authenticity and joy. The people who genuinely love and respect you will accept you as you are, and those who don't, they were never worth your time in the first place. Let go of the need for approval. Live in a way that feels right for you. The greatest gift of aging is the wisdom to know that your happiness is not found in the thoughts of others. It is found in the way you choose to live each day. 2. Stop arguing and engaging in drama. There was a time when you felt the need to explain yourself, to prove your point, to make others see things the way you do. You engaged in debates, fought to be understood, and sometimes even lost sleep over arguments that led nowhere. In those moments, it felt necessary, as if winning the conversation meant something. But as the years go by, you begin to realize a simple truth: most arguments are not worth your peace. People believe what they want to believe. No matter how carefully you explain, no matter how much logic or wisdom you offer, some minds are already made up. Some arguments are not battles of ideas, but of egos, where neither side listens and neither side wins. And when you step back and look at it, you see that engaging in these conflicts does nothing but drain you. It steals your energy, clouds your mind, and leaves you carrying the unnecessary burden of frustration. With age comes the wisdom to choose your battles. And the greatest battle you can win is the one you walk away from. It is not weakness to let things go, it is strength. It takes far more courage to remain silent than to engage in pointless disputes. It takes far more wisdom to value your peace over your pride. Not every opinion needs to be challenged. Not every disagreement needs to be settled. Not every person deserves your time and energy. Drama thrives on reaction. When you refuse to participate, it fades. When you choose not to argue, you free yourself. Imagine how much lighter life becomes when you no longer feel the need to respond to every provocation, when you no longer carry the emotional weight of trying to change someone else's mind. The time and energy you once spent on conflict can now be used for something far greater, building meaningful connections, embracing the present moment, and enjoying the simplicity of a peaceful mind. This is not to say you should silence yourself or ignore what matters, but the key is in knowing the difference between what is important and what is simply noise. There is power in walking away and saying, I don't need to be right. I need to be at peace. And in that decision, you gain something far more valuable than winning an argument. You gain freedom. At this stage in life, your happiness is too precious to be given away to unnecessary conflict. Choose peace over proving a point. Choose stillness over stress. Choose to let go. The best response to foolishness, to negativity, to chaos is simply refusing to engage. And in that silence, you find a kind of victory that no argument could ever give you. 3. Stop trying to fix everyone's problems. There was a time when you felt responsible for everyone around you. You were the problem solver, the one people turned to when life became difficult. You carried their burdens as if they were your own, offering advice, lending a helping hand, and sometimes even sacrificing your own well-being to make sure others were okay. It was instinctive, natural, because you cared. But as the years pass, you begin to understand something profound. You cannot fix everything, and you are not meant to. Life is a journey, and every person must walk their own path. You have spent years learning, growing, making mistakes, and finding your way. No one could have lived your life for you, just as you cannot live someone else's. The struggles you faced, the lessons you learned, those were yours alone. And now, as you watch others go through their own hardships, you may feel the urge to step in, to protect them from pain, to offer solutions. But the truth is, some lessons cannot be taught. They must be lived. There is a quiet wisdom in knowing when to step back. It does not mean you stop caring, nor does it mean you stop offering love and support. It simply means you release the weight of responsibility that was never yours to carry. You do not have to fix every problem, mend every broken heart, or prevent every mistake. People must make their own choices, face their own consequences, and discover their own strength. When you try to shield them from struggle, you may unintentionally shield them from growth. Letting go does not mean you stop being there. It means you allow others the space to figure things out for themselves. You become a listener instead of a fixer, a source of wisdom rather than a rescuer. You learn to trust that just as you have navigated life's challenges, so will they. And instead of carrying burdens that are not yours, you make room for something else, peace. At this stage in life, peace is more valuable than control. There is no need to exhaust yourself trying to hold everything together. The people you love will find their way just as you did. And when they do, they will appreciate the freedom you gave them to learn, to grow, and to become who they are meant to be. Your role is no longer to fix, but to love without conditions, guide without force, and let go without fear. The weight of the world is not yours to bear. you have done enough. Now, it is time to step back, trust, and allow life to unfold as it should. In doing so, you give yourself the greatest gift of all, the ability to truly enjoy the life you have worked so hard to build. 4. Stop chasing perfection and let go of regret. Perfection is an illusion, yet for much of life, we chase it. We strive to be the perfect parent, the perfect spouse, the perfect professional. We measure ourselves against impossible standards, always feeling that we could have done more, been better, achieved greater things. And when we inevitably fall short, because no one ever truly reaches perfection, we carry the weight of regret. We replay moments from the past, wondering what we could have done differently, wishing we had made different choices, longing for another chance to get it right. But as the years go by, you begin to realize that perfection was never the goal. Growth was. You did the best you could with what you knew at the time. The mistakes you made, the wrong turns you took, the things you wish you could undo, they were all part of your journey. They shaped you, taught you, and led you to where you are now. Regret serves no purpose except to keep you stuck in a past that no longer exists. It robs you of the joy that is still available in the present. The truth is, you cannot change a single thing that has already happened, but you can change the way you carry it. Instead of looking back with regret, look back with gratitude. Be grateful for the experiences that strengthened you, for the failures that redirected you, for the hardships that revealed your resilience. Every chapter of your life, even the painful ones, contributed to the person you have become. And the person you are today, the wiser, softer, more understanding version of yourself, is a testament to a life fully lived. Letting go of perfection means embracing imperfection. It means allowing yourself to be exactly as you are without shame or self-criticism. It means understanding that there is beauty in the unfinished, in the flawed, in the real. It means no longer striving to meet expectations that were never yours to begin with. It means freeing yourself from the burden of should have and embracing the freedom of what is. At this stage in life, the only thing that truly matters is how you live today. Not how perfectly you lived in the past, not how many mistakes you made, not how many dreams went unfulfilled. What matters is whether you can wake up in the morning and find joy in simple things: the warmth of the sun, the laughter of a loved one, the quiet peace of knowing that you have done enough. The search for perfection is a never-ending race with no finish line. Regret is a heavy chain that keeps you from moving forward. But when you stop chasing what cannot be reached and release what no longer serves you, you discover something far greater than perfection. You discover peace. And in the end, peace is what makes a life truly well lived. 5. Stop accumulating unnecessary things. There was a time when possessions felt important: a bigger house, a newer car, more clothes, more furniture. These things once seemed like markers of success, symbols of a life well lived. Perhaps you spent years working hard to acquire them, believing they would bring comfort, security, or even happiness. And for a time, they may have. But as the years pass, you begin to see these things differently. You realize that they do not add to your life in the way you once thought they would. Instead, they become burdens: things to clean, things to maintain, things to organize, things that take up space, not just in your home, but in your mind. There is a profound shift that happens with age. You begin to crave less of what is material and more of what is meaningful. You no longer seek joy in the things you own, but in the moments you experience. You find that the best parts of life are not stored in closets or displayed on shelves, but in laughter shared over a meal, in the quiet presence of loved ones, in the feeling of the morning sun warming your skin. Letting go of unnecessary things is not about losing, it is about gaining. Gaining freedom, gaining clarity, gaining space to breathe. The less you are surrounded by clutter, the more room you have for what truly matters. The fewer possessions you own, the more time and energy you have to focus on experiences, on relationships, on simply being present in the life you have right now. It is not easy to let go. Many of the things we hold on to are tied to memories, to moments we are afraid to forget. But memories do not live in objects. They live in us. They are not kept in the things we store in boxes, but in the stories we share, the lessons we pass down, the love we continue to give. Holding on to too much does not preserve the past. It only weighs down the present. Now is the time to free yourself. Donate what no longer serves you. Pass down what will be meaningful to others. Let go of the things you once thought you needed and see how light life can feel without them. The true value of life is not measured by what you accumulate, but by what you experience. The most precious things are not things at all. They are the moments that fill your heart, the people who share your journey, the peace that comes from knowing that what you have is already enough. In the end, no one looks back and wishes they had owned more. They wish they had loved more, laughed more, lived more. And the beautiful thing is, you still can. Let go of what is unnecessary and embrace what is truly essential. The richness of a life that is no longer defined by what you own, but by what you cherish. 6. Stop trying to please everyone. For much of your life, you have likely placed the needs and expectations of others above your own. You have been the dependable one, the caregiver, the problem solver. You have spent years making sacrifices, putting aside your own desires to ensure the happiness of those around you. Perhaps it was for your children, your spouse, your friends, or even your colleagues. You learned to say yes when you wanted to say no, to suppress your own wants for the sake of peace, to measure your worth by how much you could give. But as the years pass, a quiet truth begins to settle in. No matter how much you do, you will never please everyone. There will always be someone who expects more, who is disappointed, who criticizes, who takes without appreciation. And the more you chase their approval, the further away your own happiness drifts. The need to please is an endless road with no destination. There comes a moment in life when you must ask yourself, whose happiness have I been prioritizing, and at what cost? If you have spent decades meeting the expectations of others, is it not time to start honoring your own? You are no longer obligated to be everything for everyone. You are allowed to choose yourself. You are allowed to put your own peace above the demands of those who have taken it for granted. Choosing yourself is not selfish. It is necessary. It means understanding that your worth is not measured by how much you do for others, but by how true you are to yourself. It means knowing that the people who genuinely love you will never require you to sacrifice your own well-being for their comfort. It means freeing yourself from the burden of expectation and embracing the simplicity of living in a way that feels right for you. This is the time to say no without guilt, to decline invitations that do not bring you joy, to step away from relationships that drain rather than nourish you, to release the pressure of trying to be everything to everyone and instead focus on being whole within yourself. You do not need to justify your choices. You do not need to explain why you are no longer willing to exhaust yourself for the sake of others. Your peace is reason enough. 6. There is profound liberation in understanding that you do not owe anyone a version of yourself that is constantly bending, constantly giving, constantly pleasing, at the expense of your own happiness. You have given enough. You have done enough. Now is the time to reclaim your life, to live it on your own terms, to find joy in simplicity, to rest without guilt, to exist without explanation. The ones who truly love you will not ask you to shrink yourself to fit their expectations. They will not demand that you sacrifice your peace to accommodate their comfort. They will understand, they will respect, and they will support the version of you that finally chooses to live freely. The years ahead are too precious to be spent chasing approval. Let go of the need to please. Let go of the weight of expectation. Step into the freedom of living a life that is not dictated by the demands of others, but by the quiet, undeniable truth of what makes your soul feel at peace. Because in the end, the only person you truly need to make happy is yourself. 7. Stop worrying about the future. Worry has a way of creeping into the quiet moments of life. It arrives in the late hours of the night, whispering questions that have no answers. What will happen to my health? Will I have enough money? Will I become a burden to my loved ones? The future, vast and uncertain, becomes a place of fear instead of possibility. But as the years pass, a truth becomes clear. Worrying does not prepare you for the future. It only steals the present. There was a time when worrying felt necessary, even responsible. You planned, you saved, you worked hard to create security for yourself and those you love. And while preparation has its place, there is a fine line between readiness and anxiety. The reality is, no amount of worrying will change what is to come. It will not stop time, it will not prevent difficulties, and it will not guarantee safety. All it does is drain the joy from today for the sake of a tomorrow that has not yet arrived. Think about how many difficult moments you have already faced in life. There were hardships you never saw coming, challenges you never imagined you would endure. Yet, you made it through. You found strength you did not know you had. You adapted. You endured. You survived. And if life has taught you anything, it is that you are more resilient than you give yourself credit for. If the future brings struggles, you will meet them as you always have, with courage, with wisdom, and with the ability to keep moving forward. But what about the moments you miss when your mind is trapped in worry? The small, beautiful details of everyday life, the warmth of the sun on your skin, the laughter of someone you love, the simple pleasure of a familiar song. These are the moments that make up a life, the moments that truly matter. And yet, they slip by unnoticed when fear takes over. Every second spent worrying is a second lost, a moment that could have been lived instead of feared. Letting go of worry does not mean ignoring the future. It means trusting yourself enough to know that you will handle whatever comes. It means shifting your focus from what might happen to what is happening. It means embracing the uncertainty of life with open hands rather than clenched fists. You cannot control everything, but you can control how you choose to live each day. At this stage in life, peace is more valuable than certainty. You do not need to have all the answers. You do not need to carry the weight of the unknown. What you need, what you deserve, is to be present in your own life, to wake up in the morning and find gratitude instead of fear, to trust that the same strength that has carried you this far will continue to carry you, to believe that no matter what the future holds, you will face it when it comes, but not a moment sooner. The future will unfold as it will, with or without your worry. So instead of filling your heart with fear, fill it with gratitude. Instead of fearing what might happen, cherish what is happening. In the end, life is not measured by the number of days spent worrying, but by the number of days truly lived. Final thoughts. The art of letting go. There comes a time in life when you realize that happiness is not found in striving, proving, or accumulating. It is not in the endless pursuit of perfection, nor in the weight of other people's expectations. It is not in the battles you once thought you needed to fight, or the worries that once consumed your thoughts. True happiness, deep, lasting peace, comes not from holding on, but from learning to let go. Letting go is not about giving up, it is about choosing wisely where to place your energy. It is about understanding that your time, your peace, and your well being are too precious to be sacrificed for things that do not truly matter. It is about recognizing that not everything requires your attention, not every fight needs to be fought, and not every burden is yours to carry. For so long, you may have felt responsible for everything and everyone. You worked hard, gave your best, and spent years ensuring that others were cared for. But now, in this chapter of your life, you must also care for yourself. You must allow yourself the freedom to breathe, to rest, to enjoy. You have spent decades being strong, being reliable, being the person others could always turn to. But now it is time to turn toward yourself. The beauty of aging is that it gives you permission to release what no longer serves you. The approval of others, it was never yours to chase. The need to be right, it was never worth your peace. The weight of regret, it only keeps you stuck in a past that no longer exists. The endless worries about what is to come, they only take away from the moments you still have. Happiness in later years does not come from doing more. It comes from doing less of what drains you and more of what fulfills you. It comes from allowing yourself to slow down, to savor the present, to embrace simplicity. It comes from recognizing that life was never meant to be a constant struggle, but a journey to be experienced with an open heart. There is nothing left to prove. You are not here to meet expectations that were never yours to begin with. You are not here to hold on to things that weigh you down. You are here to live fully and freely in the way that feels right for you. And when you release the need to control what cannot be controlled, when you stop chasing what was never meant for you, when you allow yourself to simply be, you will find that peace has been waiting for you all along. At the end of it all, life is not measured by achievements, possessions, or the approval of others. It is measured by the quiet moments of joy, the love you have given and received, and the contentment of knowing that you allowed yourself to truly live. The art of letting go is the art of living lighter, loving deeper, and embracing the beauty of exactly where you are. And when you do, you will realize that happiness was never something to be chased. It was something to be allowed. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.